Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day. As we are starting in on the 60s, before I start actually talking about today's action comic book, I just want to talk about the 60s of Superman, and not, the 60s, but the number 60. Like, as we hit Action Comic 60 today, things start to kind of change for Superman. Not only do these stories kind of become bigger and more fantastical in the way that I've wanted, we're going to start seeing new writers on Action Comic. Yes, Jerry Siegel has been the credited writer on both Action and Superman. Every single story I have talked about, he is the only name given as author. Sometimes I don't believe that due to the inconsistencies, but writers are not exactly consistent. But in about 2 issues, we're going to get our first non-Jerry Siegel written Action Comics Superman story, and I think we're about to get not completely written by Jerry Siegel Superman comics too. So yeah, there's going to be a different Superman coming up because we're going to be having new writers. It's a new era, but it was a hell of a ride because Jerry Siegel wrote what 60 Action Comics, well, 61 Action Comic stories without technically another writer. That is the equivalent of like almost 6 years worth of comics, except he wrote more than that due to the Superman comics. And 4 issues a story, man, he wrote a lot of Superman comics, and they weren't all good or entertaining. A lot of them were just mobster stories that were essentially the same story, but hey, he did it. And we are still reading Superman comics because of it. So Action Comics 60, Lois Lane Superwoman. Yes, it is the second It's All a Dream story in a row. And we actually already had that like all a dream story within the last 10 issues where Clark has the dream about his identity being revealed to Lois. So they were really in a It's All a Dream era of Superman. Yeah, we kind of need new writers, don't we? If we're repeating ourselves this often. So, like I mentioned with Action Comics number 50 for this big anniversary special, they didn't really do anything special for Superman. For 60, they do actually attempt something, and that is have Lois Lane have the powers of Superman, which we can get out of because, once again, it's all a dream. Lois is walking in the street at the beginning of this comic, gets hit by a truck. She needs emergency brain surgery. Except the brain surgeon is gone. He's disappeared. No one knows where he is. Now, that sounds like a Superman story. He has to find the brain surgeon before Lois Lane's going to die. No, that's just a reason for like Superman to be gone for a bit. As she's in bed, some like yellow icons roll around her. This is how we know we're transitioning into a dream. It also helps that like immediately she wakes up and the brain surgeon's there, and there's like no explanation to this. I can't even call it a B plot because it's just a reason for Clark to be missing for this entire dream. And you don't even need that because it's all a dream. Lois survived because she got a blood transfusion. And because this is a dream, we don't bring up the continuity inconsistency problem here because Lois has actually gotten a blood transfusion from Superman before. There was the story in, I want to say, the Action Comics 20s or possibly early 30s where a stadium collapsed on her, and the only way to save her was for Superman to give her a blood transfusion. So we know a blood transfusion wouldn't give her superpowers, but here it does. So Lois is unaware about the superpowers at first, but while she's working, she does the usual accidental things like accidentally shoving her desk across the room and picking up heavy objects. She starts getting called Superwoman. So yeah, she makes her own costume, and I really like this Superman costume. Mostly, it's basically just his costume with a little skirt on it. She's actually wearing pants. Well, the equivalent of Superman wearing pants, which of course is a latex bodysuit with underwear in front of it because it tears easily in the crotch. So she's wearing that, except it has a little skirt. I like the fact that it's pants. Women should have pants, especially if they're flying out in the sky. It always annoys me when Supergirl doesn't have pants. They eventually gave her pants on the show, but it was especially annoying when she, around that time in the comics, had like thigh-high boots, and her skirt was maybe like an inch above the thigh-high boots. Like at that point, why not just complete it and have it be pants? Like, how much excitement is there for like an inch of skin? Like, it was a decision I don't agree with. Just give Supergirl pants. She looks fine with it. We don't have the like color problem where we try to figure out how to get rid of the underwear with Superman. But like this costume, the shield is questionable. They made it a heart because, well, she's a girl. Or she needed to be more feminine. The thing already had a skirt on it. I don't think they had to push it that hard. that she's a woman. The fact that she looks like a woman and nothing like Superman already kind of set that apart. So Superman's sort of missing for a lot of this. She just basically does usual Superman stuff, including saving Clark, which already tells us it's once again a dream, because if Clark had seen her be Superwoman, he would know immediately to do something about that. But instead, no, she has to go looking for Superman. So she picks up Clark like Superman would pick up Lois, though she carries him under her armpit more insultingly than Superman ever carrying Lois. So he's basically her Lois. I'm actually kind of interested to see this universe kind of keep going on. I think that would have been a fascinating thing, like the Cake and Fiona episodes of Adventure Time. Eventually, she gets captured by a Dr. Skull, who is a continuation of these like weird, amazingly named doctors who were not like brought up till the very end. I mean, we met Dr. Menace throughout the comic, just no one brought up his name was Dr. Menace until that final page. Like, how do you contain that? So, like, Dr. Skull shows up, captures her, but it was all a trap for Superman. So he captures Superman, and this is where the comic becomes great, because Lois Lane, as Superwoman, breaks out, and there's like this whole moment where Clark, Superman, well, not Clark, because in this dream she doesn't know Clark is Superman, so he can't be Superman, says, "You can't save me," and she's like, "I can't? Watch," and she does it. It's like an FU to Superman. And to get even crazier with this ending, after saving him from Dr. Skull, who is a mad scientist with fangs, they really love giving these evil people fangs at this time too. It's just going to get worse with the World War II comics. Lois basically forces him into marriage. She proposes without, actually giving a question. There is no choice for Superman here. It's, well, you're going to marry me. And then she just kisses him, like no consent at all. This feels like the Lois Lane in about a decade, the 50s Lois Lane, who's always trying to trick Superman into marrying her because it was written from the perspective of like how a 12-year-old sees a woman. But I kind of enjoyed this part, mostly because Superman just completely flabbergasted and doesn't know what to do with female version of him. Then she wakes up and everything has been all a dream, though she still seems to think she's Superwoman. Clark brings her flowers. Superman doesn't even come to visit her. But yeah, this is a lot of fun from a different perspective. It's maybe not the strongest version of, say, Lois as Superwoman that we're going to get. There's a lot more crazier stories in Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. Though they weren't even actually dating when that comic was called Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. And yeah, it's different. And it's not a mobster story. God, I always reach that well, but it's not a mobster story. And we're going to be getting, these really big, interesting stories. But I'm so kind of excited to see things change finally in Superman. Okay, that is it from Action Comics number 60, Lois Lane Superwoman. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notification when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let us ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? And where the hell did that brain surgeon go? I want that plot. Okay, have a great day.